Shaheen, Rashmi, one question to you which comes to my mind.
I want to ask
Um,
them one
yes,
small
sir,
small
please.
question each after you. Yeah.
Okay. Um, in situations like these, when you know that there is a certain kind of a history, certain background, where you have a tendency to get anxious, get nervous, probably suddenly get insecure. In a stress situation, while you are aware that it could cause havoc to your mind, how do you, but still a situation happens because रोज कुछ भी हो सकता है, अब जिससे stress होता है हम लोगों को. How do you um, handle yourself? How do you handle your mind that no, this is a stressful point. I know my mind will go haywire, but I need to be calm. How do you calm yourself?
Good question.
Shaheen?
I mean, actually, lockdown is a really good example of this because, one of the things that, for me, one of the hallmarks of depression is I stop leaving my house. I stop meeting people. I stop going outside. I stop interacting with the world at large pretty much. And this entire situation of lockdown just completely mimicked what happens
Yeah.
for me when I'm going through sort of a depressive episode or a low. So initially, the first couple of days and the first couple of weeks of lockdown was actually quite confusing for me, mentally, because I was just like, but I wasn't really feeling very low, but at the same time, I was all the behaviors I was exhibiting forcefully because of lockdown mimicked how I usually deal with that. So I mean, in that situation, I kind of realized that it was an external thing that was sort of causing it. It was an external thing, and what I've sort of realized is that when I don't want to talk about something or when I don't want to reach out is when I know I have to and when I know I need to. So my way of usually combating triggers, which are where I realize I need to sort of take stock and I need to
That's good.
sort of soothe myself as I reach out to the people around me, and that's not always easy. That's hard. I mean, like we've talked about how communication is very important, and talking helps, and interacting with people helps. But also weirdly, that's one of the things you can't do very
You
easily when
can't
you're
do.
when you're going through depression. It's a strange, it's a paradox in that
Dichotomous
sense.
situation. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the one thing that helps, but it's the one thing you can't actually do, which is
Done.
reach out.
Absolutely.
So I just have my own sort of language that I've sort of incorporated for that. So if it's a matter of me, if I'm having a low day, rather than going and saying I'm not feeling good, someone will come and say, is everything okay? I'll just say weather is bad today. And for them, that's okay. The weather is
No way.
bad today. They've understood today is raining. Okay, hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. So for me, these are easier. They're just little tricks and hacks that I've sort of learned to incorporate because it's an easier sentence for me to say than going through the whole thing of how this is how I'm feeling and this is how low I am. So that's small ways in which I find that it's easier for me to communicate, and it helps. These are little things that help me. And I think the major thing I do to calm myself, which is I don't beat myself up about having a bad day anymore. I really used to do that at one point where I was a low day, I was miserable, and I would be then miserable about the fact that I was miserable. I would be upset with myself and angry with myself and say, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you? Everyone's happy. Why aren't you happy? So now,
Yeah.
if I'm having a low day, if what I need to do is stay in bed that day, I stay in bed. I take that time for myself. I don't stop doing the other stuff. I will still do therapy. I will take my medication, but I give myself that acceptance and that time because it's just as important that I accept myself, right? And
Absolutely.
accept that I'm having a bad day.
Fantastic. Rashmi, your mantra?
Whenever I'm into any kind of unwanted situation, or maybe I'm not comfortable with, even when I'm inside the house, I think first thing I concentrate is on my breathing, and that gives me that power. Okay, now I can handle any kind of situation. That I think oxygen to your body is the utmost important thing, and people don't realize it. That breathing is the only key. Any kind of situation will give you more power, and that stability and that calmness is always going to be there. So breathe, take 10 deep breaths, and you'll be normal.
Wow, fantastic. For Shaheen, it is she has figured out her own language with which she can communicate, which is otherwise a very difficult situation. You have said, okay, breathing, deep breathe. These are very, very important um, little, know-hows. And I'm sure a lot of people who are in similar kind of situations and who yet don't know, they will probably try and incorporate it in their lives.